Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Bernie here. Just wanted to bring you a video here on the channel. Again, I'm sorry that there was no video out at 11 our usual time. Just been busy with work and catching up from a vacation that I was on. So again, I do apologize that, it hasn't really been as smooth as I would like it to be. But with that being said, we are here to talk about a video or just some rumors that have been coming out from certain individuals, especially the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz really blew their lead in the last game that they played in, which eventually led the Dallas Mavericks now to be in the second round instead of them. And I think it's important to talk about it because I do believe that this is probably the impending divorce, breakup, whatever you want to call it. But something's going to happen here in Utah relatively soon. Again, I'm wearing my Utah Utes merchandise here. Shout out my Utes. But what I will say about this before we get started, please remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Remember, all that stuff helps the channel and the algorithms, helps people realize and think like, okay, these guys are really down with the product that you're putting out. So we definitely need this, I would say, exposure. So if you guys could help me out in doing that, that would be awesome. But let's talk about the story here really quick. According to multiple reports, it's been reported that Rudy Gobert has hit a new kind of ultimatum for the Utah Jazz. It's either him or me, that being between him and Donovan Mitchell. We all know about their boost. We all know that they are definitely two players that don't necessarily get along with one another. And I would say that's probably the frustrating part in that Utah Jazz organization. You have a new owner, you have Dwayne Wade, and now that you have to deal with the headaches of your star player and your other star player, your two like maxed out players that you've paid a lot of money for, now kind of bickering at each other. And we knew that this was going to be the route inevitably, just due from the fact of what happened when Rudy Gobert touched all the mics and did all that stuff about COVID. And it ended up being a pretty big deal for those two's relationships, and we can clearly see that it affected them more so than not. We can see that there was a lot more passes not being thrown to Rudy Gobert. With that being justified, I do think that there were some passes that Rudy Gobert did fumble. So I'm not going to necessarily like put all the blame on Donovan Mitchell here. But what I will say is that Rudy Gobert has come out and said every day it's a new rumor. But the thing is, Rudy, we've been hearing these rumors for about a couple years now. This isn't something that we heard just yesterday. This isn't something that we heard just now. We've been hearing these rumors of you two, that being you and Donovan Mitchell, having a rift with one another for what seems like the longest time. And to me, like, when that happens, that means that there is some validity to those rumors. Again, not saying that all of it's true, right? You might be frustrated. You might have said it in passing to one of your teammates. You've been like, man, that's so frustrating with, Donovan Mitchell doing this or doing that. And we all know that, probably your teammate or someone in the organization was like, man, I overheard, him talking to Mike Conley about like how much he doesn't like Rudy Gobert, or like, he always fumbles the ball. And so to me, when you see that happening, when stuff like that is really in the forefront of what you're noticing, that is a huge concern for me, because I think it inevitably tells you that, yeah, I think there is going to be a situation where this team most likely breaks up, because I'm not convinced that this team can win a championship. I think that they've been close. I think they are a really, really good team. They're just not the team to get over the hump. I mean, we've seen that now for a couple years. They couldn't do it against the Clippers. They couldn't do it now against the Mavericks, and it just seems like each and every year, no matter if they're the 1 seed, no matter if they're the 4 seed, whatever seed that they are, it's definitely causing some rifts and some situations going in Utah. I know there's rumors of the Golden State Warriors potentially trading in for Rudy Gobert. That could be potentially dangerous if we see that happen. I'd actually be curious to see if that does happen. But nevertheless, talking more specifically about these rumors, I think at the end of the day, what will happen is that I think, depending on the whole coaching situation for the Lakers, we could definitely see Quinn Snyder gone. But for sure, we're going to see either Donovan Mitchell or Rudy Gobert gone, because I don't think that these two can coexist with one another anymore. Just because of the fact that, yeah, there seems to be some sort of tension. Whether you want to admit it or not, Rudy Gobert, I think there is that sort of like hesitation. There's that sort of, I would say, frustration between the both of you of like, whose team really is it? And I know it's going to be more likely than not Donovan Mitchell's team. I think they would probably keep Donovan Mitchell. But I do think we need to call out players like Donovan Mitchell in terms of being more efficient with their shooting, where I feel like that hasn't happened for him. And Rudy Gobert needs to do a much better job of holding onto the ball, catching the ball, and doing something with it, because I think that's also a frustrating thing to notice when I see these teams play. And so we'll see what happens. I think that this is going to be I would say, a very interesting summer for the Utah Jazz and figuring out what their next plan is. You got Mike Conley, who I think has been disappointing to say the least. You had Joe Ingles, who you trade away. You also have Bojan Bogdanovic. I think he's another guy that I would probably see what you can do with him. Not saying trade away. Maybe you do trade him away to a contending team. You just kind of rebuild. I think that it's kind of gotten to that point for this Utah Jazz team where there's the point of no return. Either they go full on out and say, like, okay, we're trading Conley, we're taking Bogdanovic, and we're getting another solidified scorer, or you just break it up and decide, you know what, let's try to see what we can do for the next coming playoff series, what we can do to see how we can attack it differently than before, right? Because I feel like that's been the biggest issue with the Utah Jazz as of late, is just how do we become a better team? And who knows, like, the Jazz might keep Quinn Snyder. They may not keep Quinn Snyder. All I know for a fact is that the Utah Jazz need to do something, and do something quick, because I think that this team, you can tell that they are always going to be a team that's very, very good, but never great. They're going to be a team that can maybe get to the mountaintop, but can never get over it, right? They can get to the top, but can they get over it and, beat the finish line? And that's something that, in my personal opinion, as much as I am a Utah Utes fan, as much as I do love the city of Utah, I just don't think that's going to happen for the Utah Jazz unless they get a really solidified, hungry scorer that I don't think Utah's ever had since probably Karl Malone. In terms of being efficient as well, because I think that's something that, again, I like Donovan Mitchell, but he's just too inefficient at times, especially in the playoffs, that I would say it's very frustrating to kind of watch his game, because I think he does have a very smooth and solid game. It's pretty to watch, but he's not efficient, which I think that was Jason Tatum's last problem a couple years back. And I think Donovan Mitchell will kind of hopefully get it as he continues to play and, become and realize watching the film, like, okay, I'm very inefficient with my shooting. So hopefully that happens, but let us know in the comment section down below. What do you guys make of everything that's going on for the Utah Jazz? Are you satisfied with what they're at? Are you dissatisfied? And if you're a Utah Jazz fan, what do the Jazz do with Rudy Gobert or Donovan Mitchell? I'd love to know your comments and opinions in the comment section down below. So please remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Remember, the more likes, the more subscribers, the more this channel can grow. But with that being said, hopeful to see you guys in the next video, and we'll catch everybody else later. Peace.